Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're jumping back into the combi again. As we left off last episode, we have the frame, we have it all together. It is now hanging here. We screwed the hinges up, but we fixed that, and we got the strut on. So this strut I just bought, it's a little cheap strut. I wanted to try it out to see if it was gonna work, like the angles and everything else. And so from what I worked out is that the strut is a little bit too small. So I wanted the roof to open a little bit further than this. I'm kind of standing in the middle and my head is already on it. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to keep going further, but that's what I'm going to try anyway. My other thought is I have some adjustment in the, what is it called? In the strut. And that way, if I don't want it to go as high, I can move it around. I'll show you that in a second. So what we did to make this roof a little bit stronger was we added these aluminium pieces in down the bottom here, which is an angle iron piece, comes along here, and then it's 60 deep, so it goes up under the hinges, so it gives these hinges where the roof bolts on a lot more structure. I still have to work out how to bolt this down, but that's another story. But my plan is this piece has really strengthened this side of the roof up. I want to do the same over here. So my plan is to, I guess, mimic the same thing as we did on this side and have an aluminium piece that will go along here that I can bend to the curvature of the roof and hopefully get it in there nicely that I can bolt it up, screw it down, and it'll be as strong as these ones. So first up, I have cut some aluminium already and I have tried to bend one and it kind of worked. So I'm going to take you down on the bench, I'll chuck a time lapse on and I'll show you what I did to get the curve the same, and then we can get it up here in the roof, get the strut on, and hopefully get this thing working properly where the roof is a bit higher, and we can go from there. So down to the bench and let's get into it. So I have cut two lengths at the right length for going in that area. I have then, off camera, I just wanted to see if it would work. I wasn't sure that if I could bend a piece of angle iron without it, like say, pushing out here and getting all weird, but I'm pleased to say it worked. As you can tell, it's got a little bit of a curve to it, just enough for the roof. So pretty much what I did is just jam it in here and just start bending it around and getting it to where I need. So this one is pretty damn close to where I need, so I'll leave this one how it is, and I'm going to do the same to this. So quick time lapse and I'll show you what I do. Not easy, nice and quick. Sorry, I thought it was going to take a bit longer than that. But there we go, we have two almost identical pieces. They are bent pretty damn close to the same. I have, with the first one I did have to squish it down a little bit, so I just put it on the floor, squished on it, and it just gives you the ability to move it around quite a bit and get it just how you need it. So now that I have done this, I think I talked about it in a previous episode that I was going to try and make a full aluminium ring that'll go on the roof. I think that's probably still the plan, and now because I have going to have these two pieces on either end, I can just make some little dress corners. So little pieces that will go on the corner will dress that up, which will then follow the whole pattern all the way around. That'll come later, but let's jump up into the roof and see if we can get these to fit, and then start playing with some struts and get it to work. Okay, back in the roof, we have the bent piece. Now the plan is, I think we're going to have to get this roof out of the way because otherwise it's just going to keep falling on my head. But we can put this up in here and it sits in there quite nice. So what I was talking about before is over here. I was talking about originally having like this nice piece of aluminium that ran all the way around, but it would just be too hard to do. Apparently it's not as hard as I thought. But I'm thinking to fill in this gap, I might just use a little bit of this to make a little aluminium piece that'll slide in there that'll then match this up. And then from the bottom side I can then get a little aluminium trim that runs around and finish it off on the inside. That's future plans. Hopefully they work, but we'll find out. But to start, I think I need to put the roof up, get this strut off, mount this bottom strut, mount the new strut in here, we'll bolt it in, and then we'll have to work out how to build a frame. I might just clamp it on, and that way we can close it and then see if it works, and then if it does, then I'll get the welder out, we'll pull this off once we get everything else sorted, and I can make a little frame put this on here, call the struts done. And then it's almost time that we're going to have to glue the top on this, which is hopefully going to happen soon, this episode. So let's jump into a time lapse, let's get this off, see if we can get that on there, and see what we get to. Okay everybody, I think I've sorted it out. My plan was originally I was going to use some of this rectangle stuff, come around and build it out, and then I could then put a nutsert in there. But I ended up just going with some angle line. I have it because we're making this, and so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just give it a go. And it's actually worked out way better, I think. Because I have this lip here on the roof, when the roof is down, I will then, this piece, as the roof comes down, it'll miss the lip, so therefore this is much better, probably stronger and nice and easy. I have made one for that side, and I have one for this side as well, made it up the same way. It'll miss this edge as well. I didn't really want to like continually take this on and off because I have it I'm pretty happy with like where the hinges are and where everything is set, but I don't really want to chuck weld everywhere up here. I know it is aluminium, and so it shouldn't really splatter, but I don't really want to just have it everywhere on the roof. So pull this down, weld these up, put it back up, then hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out, and then we can glue the top sheet on here and have the roof relatively finished. So let's jump down to the bench and get this thing welded up. I welded this side because I have to go linear back anyway, so I'll have to weld the inside as well. I've done up there, so now we'll take it back up on the roof, put it on, put the struts on, and hopefully it works. Then I can pull it down, dress it all up, clean it all up, and then we can get ready for this. Okay, so, oh, that's good. And I have a little bit here, which is what I was hoping for. I didn't want it to like jam up against this piece. So, okay, wobbles everything, but that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this piece out. I'm going to chuck a nutsert in the same end as I have over here, drill it out, put the other one in, and see how that works. Okay, there we go. I need the damn strut. 2 secs. Okay, got the new strut. Let's see how this works. Okay, That's awesome. I have a tiny gap. Okay, so we have a tiny gap here and a tiny gap there, but I think we've done it, everybody. I think we're looking good. Okay, so now I need to drill these out, put the clamps on, just so everything is how I think it's meant to be, and we're almost ready to glue this roof on. So, oh actually, we've got to weld the rest of those, but that's fine. Okay, 2 secs. Okay, drilled them out so I can actually get the bolts in there. Okay guys, moment of truth. Everything is ready. I've bolted these in as you just saw. So let's see if this works. Oh, stupid screwdriver. Oh, you bastard. I thought that might be the case. So it kind of works. So because of where the nut is, it's not going to close down, which makes me think I might have to use these lower ones. Or do I bend this a little bit more? Do I bend it up so it's almost level? Now I think I'm just talking shit, but I think if I had it up more, it'd still go across. You know what, let's try it. And yes, I'm going to cut the extra length off, but I don't want to cut it off until I'm ready. Well, let's give that a go. Okay, so that works. Screw it down a bit further. Okay, could be onto a winner here, ladies and gentlemen. Works really well. Actually, I need to get this nut out of there. Oh baby, okay. Look at that. Oh, I'm pleased. Okay, I am pretty damn happy with that. The struts work. They're working really nicely. So as you take these off, and you can just... Oh, that's so good. I'm really happy with that. It's a little bit of wobbliness because of these aren't like super tight. But my plan now, so I didn't say before, but when I was welding these up, I chucked a little bit more on here. I just saw a little bit of a crack, and so I've cleaned that up and welded that up a bit more. These are now working like a charm. I'm pretty happy with that. I do have a rubber seal that I'm going to run around the whole edge, which I'm not too worried about. Like some of these gaps, I might try before we pull it off for the final time, just to try and minimize this one a little bit, because the rest of them all look pretty good. I'm happy. This is looking really good. I'm pumped, boys and girls. Okay, let's take this off, weld it up. Okay guys, we're looking pretty good. I have pulled the roof off. I have cleaned it all up. I ground down all those welds. I checked over everything, and I think we're pretty good. So I then got the Alumilite or like signage kind of stuff. I have cleaned it up. I had to just chop a little bit off it so I get some clamps on it, but let's show you what it looks like. So I have set it all up. I had to trim a little bit off it, but that was just to get the clamps on and make it nice and easy to get them on without having to do anything crazy. I have then just clamped everything. I also then put a screw in each corner. My original plan is to put a pop rivet in each corner, so I can take those screws out, pop rivet it in, and then in the middle of each side I'll put another one just to bond it. I think with the amount of Sikaflex I'm going to put on there, I'm not going to have an issue. I wouldn't need the screws or the pop rivets, but I need the screws to hold it in position while I glue it. So therefore, if I just change them over to pop rivets later and make it nice and easy, they can be waterproof and not let any water in, and it should look really nice up there. So next up, I'm going to take all these clamps off, chuck you on a stand, and we're going to slaz this whole thing up with lots of Sikaflex and set it all up. And then therefore tomorrow I have a friend who we should be able to take this to. We can router all the edges, take off all the extra bits of Alumilite, and we should be ready to go on. So let's jump into some Sikaflex. Okay, here we go guys, looking really nice. I have brought it outside just to get as much heat into it as I can. I'm now going to whip all these clamps off, and I'm going to take it to my friend's house, and we're going to trim these edges up, hopefully nice and tight to this aluminium. So 2 secs and we should be ready. Okay guys, so my mate didn't have the tool, so well, he gave me this, but I needed to buy a bit, so I've just bought a bit. And I've tested it out and it's going really good. So I thought I'd better put the time lapse on. I'm going to run around this, cut all these edges off. So let's get to it. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's messy. Bloody hell. I'm glad I did it in here so I can clean up. I almost did this. Outside. So I was like, you know what, it'd be nice and easy to just trim everything off, but holy bejesus. Okay, so it worked pretty well. There's a few little bits like this, like the Sikaflex is just caught up a little bit higher than I cut, which is not too bad, but everything else is pretty good. That worked awesome. I will have to clean this aluminium edge, I think, because it's just rolled it over a little bit. But let me clean this up and we'll get back to it. Okay, it's looking good. I'm really happy with it. It's come up pretty nice. There's a few little bits and pieces on the edge that I need to clean up, but the edge is looking really nice. I have flipped it over, and then just on the edge, on the top side, I've just filed the little edge off. It just rounded some of the aluminium over. So I have fixed that. And then I drilled out the holes on here that hold the hinges just to clean them out. There was a little bit of Sikaflex that went into the backside of them, so they're all cleaned up. I have the hinges and bolts ready. So let's give this a go. Let's see how this works. I'm going to chuck those hinges on, and then we're going to chuck it up there and see how it works. Oh, also I need to work out a handle. I probably should have chucked some nutserts in there, but I wasn't sure, and now I can't. So we'll work that out. Let's actually see if we can close this. There we go, guys. The seal along here looks pretty nice. And the seal along the front. I was worried that these gaps were going to get different. Then when I glued the top on, they was going to pull the frame a little bit, but I'm pleasantly surprised. It looks really nice. Better than the pop top. Okay guys, I think that's going to do. I have a little bit too much work to finish off this episode to include everything like I wanted to. So next episode we'll nutsert all of the aluminium, all of the trim pieces and the bits that bolt everything down, put the seal on, and then we're going to go for a trip. I have a nice little campsite that I want to go to, so that'll be next episode. We're going to finish it off and then take it for a drive. So that'll be really good. The next one after that, I have some big news, some big changes, but lots of good stuff happening. So please stay tuned and hang out next time. I'll see you soon. Cheers.